What is up, y'all? So today I bought a CRAFTSMAN, well, it was last week, but I bought the CRAFTSMAN workbench toolbox. This one's a 9-drawer. They have a 10-drawer. This one is phenomenal because it comes with the workbench top, all wood, and I only paid $2.99 for it. It's on sale right now. They probably sold out because, I mean, it's a smoking deal. So we'll go over what it looks like, the assembly, all that jazz. So let's see what we got. What you get in the drawers is your casters and your handle. This one's the red edition. A lot of people were having complaints about the wood top and the bottom, but as you can see, mine has no dents. It's nice. Just that one over there is a little funky, and that hole over there is a little funky, but it doesn't matter. It's a workbench top. It's gonna get messed up. You get your keys. Comes with the gold edition keys. Very nice. But all jokes aside, what I like about this one is it has this large center drawer, and they're all soft close. Look at this. Look at that. That's smooth. With weight. What I like about this one is they're not too shallow and they're not too deep where you stack a lot of crap in there, but they're deep enough to put like hand tools in there. Okay. The other one, the other edition, actually had each drawer going all the way up to about right here. This was split in the middle, and it was $100 more, as well as it didn't have your power strip on the side. This one has a power strip set up and all that. First thing I noticed is this bottom has a full support rib going down, so that way you're just not relying on your standard gauge metal, and it's not well placed. It's just one rivet on each side holding it, so as you can see it flexes, but when you put the wheels on, all that is going to get sucked down anyway, so it really doesn't matter too much. It's a way to have cost savings. I mean, it'd be nice if they put one right there or something just to hold it down, put two on the top and then like one down here at the bottom, but it's not necessary. It's just something that they kind of overlook. You have a run of paint here when they sprayed it. It looks like it was black and they sprayed it red, because you can see some bleed through here. No big deal, I'm not tripping. It's not going to be out in the weather. A few spot welds in areas that hold everything together. It's like every other toolbox. To cut costs, all they do is bend the metal into channel shapes, so that way it makes it stronger. But I mean, it is what it is, especially at the price. I'm not complaining. Your wheels come out right here. These are like a sheet metal stamp. They have like a rubbery wheel. It's like a rubbery plastic. I would recommend upgrading these, because in your typical shop, chemicals and stuff will eventually crack these. So I'd recommend getting like some hard wheels, or especially if you're out on hot cement, this stuff will start printing. It just won't last in a shop environment, but I mean, your typical garage, it'll be fine. But if you wheel your stuff around a lot, yeah, shop environment, these will definitely eventually crack. So another reason why you may want to swap these out is they have no way to lubricate them, so they have no Zerk fittings. As you can see, you can lubricate up here though. So when assembling this stuff, remember you're going to need an angled wrench, 1/2-inch wrench. You can't use a flat one on here because you'll be up against here. It's going to be hard for you. You can get away with it, but it's recommended that you have some type of bend on your wrench. Ratcheting wrench works great. You cannot use a socket because the socket won't fit in here even with the extension. This wheel's in the way. You could use the sockets on the front because they rotate, but not the back side. they don't spin freely, and they're hard to pull back and forth. It's probably because they're riveted here straight across, and they might not have any lubrication in between, or very little. Same thing with the back side. But when you push it, it locks up, and then the latch too is kind of stiff when you cam it over. Once it's put together, of course, you got, you know, your cutting board style top with the tongue and groove finish. These are my drawer liners. I'll go over that in a separate video. Just give you a size comparison. This is a Dremel box, and then this is a RotoZip box. How much room you have. I mean, pretty good size tabletop. I will be putting a gun mat on the top of this. I actually had to reorder one because the one I got was damaged. I had a cut in it, so I reordered it, and it should cover the majority of this top. It's for a long gun, and the reason why I went with that is because it's chemical resistant, and everything wipes away off of those pretty easily. This drawer liner has pores in it, and especially when I'm working on greasy stuff, I don't want it to accumulate and then become one thick surface of gunk. But one upgrade that I did recommend, and I already did it, is I purchased industrial casters. I was doing research into them, and they're perfect for this application. These are the 5-inch casters, and then with that in mind, I had to pick up you know, the brake system separately because they didn't come with the brakes. So this was $5. Your casters, I mean, you could pick up on Amazon a decent set of casters. I bought another set that's a little bit smaller that I'm going to use for my 3D printer on Amazon, and those cost, you know, under $30 for all four. But I mean, you could get casters that range from, you know, $20 for all four that are decent. But considering the load that this thing's going to take, I opted out for a little bit better caster, and these roll 100 times better than their original ones that came on this cart. But yeah, I mean, and it matches the, you know, the toolbox as well. Also, I mean, when looking for casters, definitely check eBay because they have the cheapest prices for stuff, and Amazon, before like looking into Grainger. Because I mean, this is a Grainger product, and I bought it from Grainger through eBay, and it was cheaper through eBay than it was Grainger itself. But with all that aside, the toolbox, this is what it looks like. Of course, I'm going to organize it a lot better. I just got done putting in my drawer liners. I just wanted to show you how they actually close once it was all assembled. The bad thing about this large drawer versus the one with the split is it kind of, if you see all that action there, that play, kind of binds on itself. Not to the point where it won't close, but to the point where you could, you know, fill the slot with all this extra weight. Because I mean, I have this bit set here. I have these wrenches here, the sockets extensions there, and those are pretty heavy. But if I push on one side and I close it, it'll bind. But if I push it in the middle and close it, it closes evenly. But if you look at this, this sits flush on this side, come to this side, and it's a little bit off. So you got to push it in manually. I mean, no big deal. There's adjustments that could be made. I'm just saying to keep that in mind when loading this top drawer. As you can see, I can't pull from the side to open it. It has to be from somewhat centered of the drawer to pull it in. I got a lot of weight in there, so maybe a split drawer may have been better. It is what it is. This top drawer is actually going to be for stuff that I'm going to use on a daily. So like screwdrivers, you know, ratchets and stuff like that I need to access right away to work on stuff up here. So that's the look of the CRAFTSMAN toolbox. If you want to see tool reviews of what I have in store. Definitely consider subscribing for that. I mean, stay tuned for that because I'll do some tool reviews as well, brands to look out for and that type of stuff, and what I'm gonna pick up in the future. Okay, so when installing your lock, your brake for your wheel, you're gonna get a pin that looks like this, except it's gonna have a hex on both ends, hex here and then a nut here. This one actually looks like a rivet because it has this little notch that corresponds with the other end. There's like a little notch where this locks into, and then you're able to zip it down. This is going to be a 1/2 inch socket that you're going to need. So even though this is a shoulder bolt, okay, the one it comes with is a little bit longer to accommodate this plate thickness. You don't want to zip it down all the way on this brake, because if you do, it's going to tighten it way too tight and you won't be able to actuate the lever itself. So definitely tighten it all the way and then back it off at least one rotation, so that way it has a camming motion like that. I mean, when your foot pushes on it, it's going to be a lot easier to actuate this. And then I also greased the heck out of these. When greasing them, they actually have other bolts like this that are drilled all the way through with the Zerk fitting, and then they have a hole in the center so that way it could lubricate your bearings. So if you're in like a wash area where, you know, your carts are running through a wash, then you definitely want the greased Zerk fitting bolt group, so that way you could make sure they don't rust out internally. Also apply a water resistant grease in there, or lubrication of some sort. But yeah, so I mean, for, you know, home use and your typical use of a wheel, your caster, most people won't actually need that. You could just take it apart and then grease it up once a year or what have you. Typically you don't really need to grease them too much because these carts are usually stationary, at least your toolbox is. But the most complex part of this is the way this is located. So you're supposed to hook in this flat into the inside first, and then allow your little indentation here to lock into the actual caster slot. Once you get that aligned, you put the bolt in with your wheel, and then you put your locking lever in, and then your nut. So this is what it actually looks like once assembled. And what it does is, this cam right here, it has an oblong shape. So when you push on, it pushes into the metal. So there's an off position and an on position. So when you lock it on, it cams this down. It pushes down at the bottom side. So there's this cam, it pushes down on that lever, pulling this into the wheel. When you push up, it pushes up on this little notch here, and it lifts it up off the wheel, and it all slides up and down in this little groove here. So that's what it looks like once installed. And like I said, you know, they sell these wheels on eBay. You can find them anywhere. eBay, I feel, is the cheapest because you could get them on bid. And basically that's what I did, is I got these on a bid, because not everyone's looking for wheels, especially, you know, they're usually looking on like Amazon or Granger or whatever. Not really so much eBay, because eBay has used ones as well. Nothing wrong with used stuff. Actually, these were used, so they came off another cart, according to the description, that the guy was disassembling for whatever reason, and he was parting out some of the parts, but they did not come with the locking levers. I don't know if the ones you buy from the store will actually come with the locking lever or your brake lever, either way. But yeah, it's a pretty nice wheel. So for the price, you know, I paid 20 bucks for all four, which is a smoking deal in my opinion, especially because these roll pretty good. That was a pretty good deal. So that's going to complete today's video. If you found any of this information helpful, definitely give it a thumbs up. It informs me that you actually like the content that I'm producing. And also, if you want to stick around for any of these tool reviews that are coming up in the near future, definitely consider subscribing. Until next time, I'll see y'all in the next one.